My first week with Forge, we were sitting in a living room. A few men, Bibles open, coffee on the table. And we started talking about the gospel. Not just about theology, not just about apologetics, just what Jesus had actually done in our lives. And as I listened to these guys share, I realized something. The gospel is powerful. Lives are still being changed. Marriages are still being healed. Addictions are still being broken. But if I'm honest, sharing the gospel sometimes doesn't feel all that powerful. As Catholics, we can memorize prayers, we can defend church teaching, we can explain the sacraments. But to look at a coworker, to look at an acquaintance, and maybe even a stranger, and actually proclaim the gospel, that can make us nervous. And I felt that. Why is it? I think part of it is this. Somewhere along the way, the good news stopped sounding like the good news. It started sounding like church news, private news, kind of okay news. But the gospel is not okay news. It is life-altering news. Through the gospel, you can be free, not slightly improved, not managing your struggles better, not self-help, but free. And yet sometimes when we hear that word free, it can sound distant because the brokenness still feels real, sin still shows up, old wounds can still ache. And if we're not careful, disappointment can creep in. We start to wonder, where's the power? But St. Paul says it plainly. I'm not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of salvation. The word he uses in the Greek is dunamis. It's where we get the word dynamite. The gospel is not advice, it is power. If I had 1 minute to proclaim it, it would sound something like this. You were created intentionally for a relationship with God, but all of us have been captured. Sin isn't just bad behavior, it is bondage. And the enemy who wants you bound is real, but so is the God who seeks you. In every other world religion, man searches for God, but in Christianity, God searches for man. So Jesus came, he lived the life you could not live. He died the death you deserved. He rose from the dead, breaking the power of sin, destroying death, crushing the works of the devil. And that's not religious poetry, that is victory. So you no longer have to live chained. He can offer you redemption, not self-help, but a rescue, a lifeline. And the only question left is, what are you gonna do? That's the kerygma. And here's something fascinating. The word gospel in the Greek is Evangelium. It wasn't originally a church word. It was a military announcement, an imperial proclamation that the war is over, the king is won, Jesus is Lord. That's Christianity. The Christian life is not about dragging around a ball and chain and pretending to smile. Jesus didn't die so you could manage your sin better. He came to set you free. Whoever the Son sets free is free indeed. Free from shame, free from fear, free from addiction, free from the lies of the evil one. But hear this, you are not just freed from something, you are freed for someone. Freedom isn't autonomy. It's not about doing whatever you want. It's discipleship. Jesus doesn't say, come admire me. He says, come follow me. When a rabbi would call a disciple, he would say something like this, come follow me. And the disciples' response was essentially this, let your dust be upon me. In other words, I want to follow you so closely behind you that your dust would cover my life. I want to be shaped by yours. I want your thoughts to become my thoughts, your ways to become my ways. That is freedom. That is discipleship. And that, my friends, is the good news, the gospel, the best news you'll ever hear. And guess what? It still has power.